Hello and welcome to another video, and good afternoon from Mumbai here in India, where today I'm flying Air India's first class and I'm having a bit of a strange time of it. Dive in and let's see what it's all about. Enjoy the video. And good afternoon from Mumbai. We're leaving from Terminal 2, which, well, once you manage to get in, of course, is a stunning piece of engineering. Now, don't let the guards put you off. They're pretty standard at large Indian airports. This is one serious piece of infrastructure and still feels brand new despite being nearly 10 years old. Not only is it really photogenic, the terminal has 4.5 million square feet of space, making it absolutely enormous, and has lots of attention spent on the architecture and finer details. Air India operate a first-class check-in kiosk, and first-class passengers are met by the earnest and helpful concierge who will escort you through security.
There's so much time now for your boarding, so
yes.
You can just relax.
After security, I'm handed over to a colleague, and I have to say I was not expecting an escort through the airport on a domestic itinerary. Air India has no lounge of its own in Mumbai, which really surprised me. Instead, I'm taken to the Adani Lounge, which is operated by a third party, and my chaperone hands over a chit to get us in. This lounge is not exactly a nirvana of peace and quiet. I've talked before in my previous video about how busy Indian airport lounges are these days, and this one is unfortunately no exception. Much of this is down to lounge owners taking on too many contracts, and everyone suffers. This place is just much busier than the terminal outside. The buffet may be incredibly busy, but the food selection is excellent. There are so many types of curries on offer that even the most picky eater would find something they like. So there's lots of food, but no plates. Kind of weird. Yes, so busy was this lounge that there was food, but nothing to put it on. And every time a few bowls came from the kitchen, the poor lady was ambushed and everything vanished pretty much straight away. Clearly, they're understaffed, or at least not employing enough staff for the number of guests in the lounge. So this is definitely one of the more bizarre lounge experiences I've had. It took me 20 minutes to find a plate, and it took me another 5 minutes to find a seat. But finally I'm sat down, off to a bit of a strange start. I have to say the food was absolutely pucker, and as a bonus, this lounge has a great view of the apron outside. I'm Paul Lucas, and I have the best job in the world. I get to fly around the world and make videos for YouTube, reviewing airlines and train trips and going behind the media hype, drawing back the curtain to find out what you really get for your money. I don't work with the airlines, and I pay for all my trips myself, so you can be sure I'm giving you unfiltered, unbiased opinion about how to travel, who to fly, and whether it's worth the money. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell to be notified of all my videos as and when they land on YouTube. Mumbai Airport has plenty of public art, and this installation of a collection of traditional Indian building fascias is probably the most eye-catching. I love when airports try to showcase their local culture in the terminals, almost becoming an avatar of the country itself. And just like almost every city worldwide, there's an Irish pub. This pundit, however, has no time to stop and drink. So the security and lounge experience was a bit odd. The guy that was escorting me came with me into the lounge and just kind of hung around with me, even while I was taking all that footage of that bizarre buffet situation. And I kind of felt a bit weird sending him away, because it sounded like I wasn't supposed to send him away, and he was instructed to stay with me for the whole 2 hours, which is a little bit strange. Oh, the other thing I just remembered, the concierge said that she would pick me up from the lounge at 3 p.m, which is when my flight's due to board, and I've decided to kind of break out of jail and come and look at the rest of the airport, which is absolutely stunning. But I suppose I'd better call her and let her know that I've made my own way down to the gates. Whoops. But thanks so much. No, appreciate it. Thank you. Bye. Mumbai Airport is a great place to watch some aircraft you don't get to see often back home in Blighty, and I was really intrigued and a bit sad to see this old 747 parked away, now sadly retired from Air India service. Today's ride is this Boeing 777-300ER. This juggernaut of an aircraft just arrived on a 15-hour flight from New York, will make a return trip to Delhi, and then fly on from Mumbai to New York again. It's got a full international cabin and sports the distinctive Air India livery featuring the jharokas, a style of classical Indian ornamental window. Right next door is a slightly different Air India 777 with no decorative windows. Now this 200 series aircraft is one of 6 leased airframes formerly of Delta Airlines, and they still retain the original Delta cabin, Delta One Suites. This is one cushy cabin. I've flown it on the Delta A350 and it is far superior to Air India's normal cabins, as we're about to see. Right now, these aircraft are mostly flying routes from India to the US West Coast.
It's a pre-boarding announcement, sir.
Oh,
You have to
okay.
wait inside.
That's fine, yes, thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thanks. Well, that's kind of strange. There's no priority boarding for first class. Not quite sure what's going on here. Thank you. It's not clear to me what pre-boarding was for. It seemed to be a bit of a free-for-all, and there's typical duplication of tasks. My boarding card was checked at the counter, and then by somebody else behind a rope, and finally... Police officer at the end here. It's not my goal to accrue bad karma today, so no filming the police officer. Hello. Hi, how are you? Hello there.
1-8.
Come, sir.
Thank you. And here we are. We first passed through Air India's very dated 232 business class before getting introduced to my large and spacious first class seat. It is joyfully old school and definitely evokes memories of a different era. This seat is from 2009 and is the sort of seat I used to really dream of flying back then. There's just one row of first class on this aircraft, and it really does feel quite exclusive here at the front. Gold trim too, very bling. Now, they don't make airline cabins like this anymore, and perhaps for the best, as we'll see. So finally made it aboard Air India 687 and just had the most lovely welcome from the cabin crew here. I think this is going to be a great flight now that I've got on board. What a first class cabin this is though. There are so many interesting little details about the seat, stuff that you just don't see in modern first class seats these days. The cabin crew serving me was just so earnest and wonderful, and he definitely knew how to engage with a travelling Brit, by talking about the weather of course.
But you know what, even Delhi is going to be like not all that pleasant because Mumbai is like on the seaside.
Delhi is
So-
inland, right? It's really
Yeah,
hot.
yeah,
really
it's very hot. So
Yeah.
this hot and that hot is slightly different. This is
Yeah.
more humid.
I was also given a menu and taken through the slightly strange first-class dining concept. More on that when we're in the air, but the eagle-eyed among you will notice this is a business-class menu. I was told I really must try buttermilk for a pre-flight drink, and I agreed. Sure, I'll try something new. Now, little did I know, buttermilk is actually a spiced masala flavoured drink, and I can see why it isn't too popular outside of South Asia. It tasted to me like the dishwater left after you've washed a curry pot. Not for me, sorry. The mango juice was a much better choice. Much better. You'll be pleased to know this introverted Brit powered all the way through that buttermilk and told the crew it was delicious. But now it's time to leave for our exciting domestic hop up to Delhi. Today's flight covers the 707 miles up to the Indian capital in 1 hour and 43 minutes. So let's get into how I booked this ticket and what it cost. I buy nearly all of my tickets directly from the airline responsible. A few select routes in India have 777 service with a first-class cabin, and there are currently 2 daily flights with this aircraft between Mumbai and Delhi. The ticket is fairly expensive. £560 for a one-way fare is not to be sniffed at for such a short flight, but I figured this was my only chance to fly this unusual product. And yes, you can select seats before booking if a window is as important to you as it is to a flight review guru like me. So far, so good, but now to the thrust of the video. This seat is nearly 15 years old, and it shows. The enthusiast in me loves the old details here. The Konark chakra symbols dotted around the cabin, the golden details, the large wardrobe space for your suit jacket or a change of clothes, and the carpet is really something, even if it doesn't fit. The fact is, this seat is broken, and it's filthy too. The reading lamps were just about the only thing working properly in this seat. There is very limited storage too, which is to be expected given the age of the seat, but bizarrely, the storage pouch is actually marked no stowage. This seat controller is far from tickety-boo. Not all the buttons worked. Good luck getting this seat to lie flat into a bed. Only the footrest wanted to deploy. Elsewhere, there's more dreadful wear and tear, I'm afraid. Just about everything is on its last legs, and it is dirty. The seat is full of pen marks, and there's a layer of grit and grime almost everywhere. This seat hasn't been cleaned in a very long time, and to be honest, this is disgraceful. Everywhere you look, there is unfixed damage, dirt and decay, and this is the worst state I have seen a seat in for a very long time. This wouldn't pass in economy class, and it's shocking to see in a first-class cabin that's just come off a 15-hour flight that costs goodness knows how much. It's a sad reflection of the reality of flying Air India, and unfortunately a problem foreseen by some of my Twitter correspondents who predicted I'd find exactly this. Of course, the entertainment screen wasn't working either. So, first class on domestic Indian itineraries gets the regular business class menu, but the crew said I could choose 2 main courses. It's not clear if this is policy or whether the crew felt he could definitely tell I was up for trying as much as possible, but I obliged anyway. The crew member was the absolute highlight of this experience, and it takes a really good member of staff to gel with a customer straight away and prejudge their needs. Air India, give this guy a promotion.
It's true for you, sir. Okay, perfect. Enjoy your meal, sir.
Air India has a good head start with its food. It's not always the fanciest looking stuff, but boy, does spicy Indian food travel well at 40,000 feet. I really enjoyed my bumper meal, and the espresso and coconut mousse was a really good way to round things off. There's nothing special about the first class bathroom on board, but Air India is the only airline I've seen which asks customers not to flush their night suits, that is, their pyjamas, down the toilet. So as we cruise into Delhi, I'm left confused. I'd just flown with Akasa Air, a wonderful low-cost airline with brand new planes, a couple of days prior. And it was great. I'm so excited about India and for India. It is a huge economy now, and I love travelling here. There's a really big expat community of Indians back in the UK, and visiting their home is fascinating to me. But I can't really change my impressions of Air India from the first time I flew them. So from this one experience, I can probably conclude that Air India has good people working in a bad system. Still, there is some hope on the horizon. Air India does seem to permanently be in transition, but there are some seriously big changes coming. It's recently been privatised, there are nearly 500 new planes on order at the moment, and these tired 777 and 787 Dreamliner jets are due a refurbishment. Plus, it's merging with Vistara, a high-quality Indian carrier, which I think will improve some of the service levels. As I pull into Delhi, thoughts of what might have been are replaced by what's next. An enormous itinerary with Singapore Airlines featuring the world's longest flight on their bespoke A350-900 ultra-long-range jet. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. The next one's a cracker. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video very, very soon.